Hi, this is Sikandar Rafiq and you are watching DevCore Learn Software Development YouTube channel. So today's topic is data types in PostgreSQL. So as we have last time discussed the introduction to SQL in the previous video. So the next question is what data type or column type we have to use in the SQL. Okay, let's go to the topic. It is very important topic because when you use the SQL, you have to specify the data type for each column. Okay, learning objective. What is the data type? Why data types matter? PostgreSQL data types categories, numeric types, character types, BOOLEAN, date time, UUID, JSON or JSONB, arrays, binary data type. Okay, then we have a practical examples, invalid data demonstration and common mistakes. So we will discuss all these points or topics in this video. Okay, what is the data type? So the simple definition is data type defines the kind of data that can be stored in the database column or operation that can be performed on that data. For example, if you define the create user table, create table users, so we have to define different columns. For example, user ID. So we have to specify what the type of data is stored in this column. What kind of data? For example, we can store 1, 2, 3. We can store alphanumerics like strings, names like this, Sikandar Ahmed, or this is text, something like that, or there are some other things as well. So we have to specify what kind of data we are storing in each column, right? So this is essential, otherwise we cannot, SQL generate the error. So this is the data type here. For example, we can define the user data type is integer, right? So it's mean we have to save the integer values in this column. Okay. Why data types are so important? So as we have seen, without specifying the data type, SQL will generate the error. But the important part is we have to specify the correct data type. So it is also very essential for different reasons. For data validation reason, so for example, if we specify in the user table is the age column, so do we need to specify its type is integer, or we have to specify its type is text? So it's very important what type of data is stored in the age value. So it is very important in data validation point of view. storage efficiency. So if you have seen, if we age normally is in the form of, for example, 30 or 40 or 15, etc. So here you can see it's a numeric data type. So we cannot specify its type as text. Text is wrong. So for storage efficiency, we have to specify the correct data type. If we specify age as integer, so it is more efficient as far as storage point of view. Correct operations. So we will specify different type of operations. Okay, so correct operations mean, for example, if you specify any type, for example, price, and you specify a proper type which is the integer, so you can add the value price plus price. So you can add sum up two columns. So you cannot, for example, if you specify its type is rather than integer, if you specify its type is text, so you cannot specify, you cannot add the operations like 10 plus 10, because these are the text. Or you cannot specify any operations like name Ahmed plus something plus 10. So this is wrong. These are also wrong. So this is the correct. So for the normal operations or on any column, because the column can be used for any mathematical operations, so correct type must be specified. Data integrity. So specifying the correct data type helps to ensure the data integrity. So we have discussed the data integrity in the previous video. So if you specify the correct data type, so it helps the database to enter the valid data and reject the incorrect data. Yeah, one example, for example, if you specify age is equal to integer, so as this is the correct data type, so we can enter the age value is 10, and if you specify text incorrect data type, so you cannot specify 10. This is wrong. Okay, Postgres data types categories. So there are a lot of data type categories. So we will discuss the prominent data types which are used mostly. Numeric data types, character and text, Boolean, datetime, UUID, binary data type, JSON or JSONB, arrays, specialized types. Okay, for example, the first one is the numeric data type. So there are a lot of numeric data types. Small int can be used for lower values. For example, if you have role ID, so this is the minimum range, minimum value, and this is the maximum value. This ID can be used. This data type can use. For example, you can specify the role ID, role underscore ID, and its data type is small int. yeah, you can use this, but the better is we can use the serial. We will discuss why this is more appropriate. Okay, another value is integer or int. So these are the data type. You can use its range. So this is the minimum range. It is the -2 billion to +2 billion. So you can specify the value in this range. If this is the 4 byte, consume the data storage of 4 byte. So if you expect the more records, more than 2 billion, you have to specify the big int. So big int has very large number of values. This is the minimum range and this is the maximum range. Okay, serial. Serial is just like the integer value, but it is the auto increment. So why I specified for the primary keys? For the primary keys, serial is better because role ID and then description, and it is the, for example, another data type. So this is automatically incrementing. First record it has the one value, and then next one is automatically incremented. So for the primary keys you have to you will specify serial or big serial. Don't use the small int or integer or big integer, because otherwise for this you have to specify the value in this case, and if you have to specify role ID's type is serial, you don't need to specify the role ID value. It is automatically incrementing the value. For example, if we have the two columns, role ID and then the description. So in insert value you have to specify only the description column. So this is the role ID and it is the automatically added in the database when you add the new record. So another record you add, it is automatically incremented to 3. So that is why for primary keys we will use the serial or big serial. So serial is 1 to this value. So another advantage is it has not the minus range, this range. It has 1 to this maximum value, 2 billion something. And if you expect the more than 2 billion records, then you have to specify big serial. For example, if you are expecting the user more than 2 billion, you have to specify user ID as big integer, big serial. Okay, then the decimal precision or scale, and also the numeric. So for the decimal or numeric, yeah, precision is, for example, we specify the 10 and the scale is 2. Yeah, this is the P and this is scale. So 10 means it is the total digits and 2 means it is the digit after the decimal point. So in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.78. We can specify these values because this is the total is 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total is 10 and 2 scale is the after the decimal places. So we have the 2 decimal digits after decimal places and total is 10. So this is the precision, which is 10, and scale is 2. So this is variable, you can specify any value. Real is the 4 byte data, and it has the 6 decimal places. You can specify some values here, but it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it is up to the 6 decimal places. decimal digits. So if you have some value, for example price, so you can specify its value is real. So and you can insert the value up to 6 decimal places to ensure the accuracy. And the double precision is the 8-byte value. Double precision and 8-byte value, and it has up to the 15 decimal digits. So if you have some value in which you want to accuracy up to 15 decimal places, for example pi is 3 point something, I think it is more than 6 digits. So you can specify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something. I forgot the actual what is, but I think it has the more decimal places, more than 6. So in this case you can use the double precision value, or any value which you need more decimal places up to 15 digits, you will use the double precision. Okay, then go to the character string. So first one is the char n. It is the fixed character length, and if string is shorter than n, then it is padded by the spaces. So data storage is n plus 1, and its maximum length is 8000. For example, country code char 2. For example, if you specify the char 2, you can use the, for example, code. This is the country code char 2. So you can use the values here is UK, US, etc. PK, or for example, if you specify the name is equal to char 100, so it is the fixed value. If data storage is 100 is fixed and 1 is for length, so it will, the data storage is 101. In this case, for example, is to specify add the string is Sikandar, so it is the 8 character length, but in the database it will add the Sikandar and then the spaces here, all the spaces up to the 100. So it will consume all the data, so it is fixed length. So always use wisely this type, because it consumes the more space, fixed data type space. It will always use the n plus 1 space storage. If it is 100, then it will consume the 101. Okay, varchar. So this is the variable length character type. So it stores the maximum length, and up to the maximum length is 8000. I will explain this. For example, this is the case if you specify name and specify its varchar 100 and store the value is Sikandar, which is the 8 character. So it will use the 8 plus 1 for length, total length of the this string. So it will use only 9 bytes storage. So you have seen in case of only char, it will consume 101. So it will not pad the strings, it will use the variable length. So how much you specify, insert the data, it will consume 1 character for each byte, and because these are the 8, so this is the 8 and 1 plus for the length. So it will consume in this case 9. For example, if here you specify Sikandar Rafiq and then space and then Rafiq, so it is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it will consume the 14 plus 1, 15 bytes. So most of the time, in case of string value, we will use the varchar. So because this is the variable length, it is very efficient and minimum space data storage is consumed. So that is why most of the time we will use the varchar. So okay, one more thing, if you're exceeding more than 100, so it will be truncate. For example, these are here we will have the 100 characters, so more characters are truncated, these are not added in the database, only first 100 bytes are added. So remember this thing. Same is the case for char n. So it is, for example, you specify char 100, so it will save the 100 bytes. So if you insert the more than 100 characters, so it will also truncate it. Okay, the next is the correct text. Text is variable length character type with no specific length. For example, if you don't have the and expect the length, for example, in case of description field, you don't need, user will type how much character of data. So in this case you can specify text. For example, if user enter the 1000 characters, so it will also added in this field description. So but most safe type is you can specify the varchar and some good length, for example 150. So first 150 character will be saved and more than 150 characters will be truncated. So this is the reasonable length. For example, in current you have the URL, so we don't need to have the pre-signed URL. Pre-signed URL, we don't have the actual count of the characters, so in this case we will specify the text. Why text it will be used? Because if URL is truncated, so it will not display the URL. So we will not take the risk of the truncation of the characters. That's why we cannot specify varchar or other characters, other here, or any limit. So in this case we will use the text. So it has the no limit. It has no limit and long. It has the length, actual length plus 1. So for example, this pre-signed URL has the for example 500 characters. So it will consume the 1 character for each byte is 500 plus 1. So it will consume 501 bytes data storage. Right? So this is the character and string types. Boolean. So Boolean is the true and false. for example, is active. So you can specify the Boolean type. So it will save the true or false, right? Okay, now we have the date and time. So date consume 4 byte and the time also consume 4 byte. For example, you can specify the date, birth date, and its type is date, and the example is (200801). So this is the date example, and time is, for example, any time created. For example, this is the field name, right? Created, and you can specify time. So 12:30 and 00. Another is timestamp. It is the 8 byte storage consumed. For example, at each record we will add the created at field. It will specify timestamp, at what time this record is created. So it will add the date and time. (01) and then time. So this is timestamp. Okay, another is timestamp TZ. TZ for time zone. So it will specify the time zone with the GMT plus. For example, if you specify the Pakistan time, it will show the GMT plus 5 because Pakistan is on GMT plus 5. So same is the created at field. If you specify time TZ, complete time, so it will add the time zone as well. It will show the complete time, 10 and then 12 and then time, so GMT plus 5 because Pakistan is on GMT plus 5. So it will be used for the application which have the user around the globe from different countries. So we will use this timestamp, time TZ. This is very efficient and very useful data type. Okay, UUID. UUID is basically universally unique identifier. So it is very common in the modern application. For example, message underscore ID is UUID data type. So it looks like this string. So it will be used for application. For example, we have the client application and a mobile app. So mobile app is different mobile apps. For example, mobile 1 and 2, mobile N, and it is saving all the data to our database, and it is saving the device ID. So we could not specify integer 1, 2, 3 for these device ID of any mobile app because we don't know the uniqueness of this integer. For example, if this is 2 is assigned to this mobile device ID, so it can be used by this ID. So this is the UUID is universally identifier, unique identifier. So in this case, we will use the device ID for its data type is UUID. So each application will generate the UUID and provide this to the database. So it will be unique and its value is just like this, and it is the globally unique. So it is the industry standard. So in this scenario or use case, we will use the UUID type. It is very efficient and useful data type. JSON or JSONB, for example, if you want to save the profile, so its data looks like this. JSON name Ali and age is 25, city is Rawalpindi. So this is the JSON, and JSONB is basically binary form of this JSON data. So which one is commonly preferred? So JSONB is commonly preferred because it is very efficient and it is the saved as binary, and it is the optimized for the access and accessibility and filtration point of view. So that is why where we have to use the JSON, will we use the JSONB, right? So because it is the preferred Postgres data type. Okay, arrays. Postgres also support the arrays. We can define the text arrays. So data looks like this. For example, database, Postgres, SQL. So we can use this, or we can access this as just like text 0 or 1 or in loop form. So it will return the database first ID. Here say 1 is this and 2 is this. So this is the array data types. Binary data, if you want to save the binary data, we can use the byte A type. It is for binary data. We can use for saving the raw bytes or encrypted hash. So although we can save the media files, but often it is better to store the media of larger object in the different storage other than the database rules. So for what type binary data is used, for example, we have to save the refresh token. So in order to refresh the access token for JWT mechanism, we will use the refresh token mechanism. So this is very secret field. So we will not save this secret field in the database. We will create the hash of this, which is called the refresh hash, token hash, and specify its type is byte A. So it will be used just like the binary data, EA something. So user cannot predict what it is. So it is the encrypted data hash. So in case of the secret data, we will create the hash and store its hash in the database by saving the binary data. Okay, this is a practical example. We will create this database with this table, create user table. I will copy this. Okay, this is our test DB. or this is the query tool. Here you can see we don't have any table. So we will go through these columns. The user ID is big integer, username is varchar 50. So you understand what 50 means. 50, more than 50 characters are truncated here. Email is text, which is not required, but I have used to specify the different type only. But in case of email, we can use the bar chart as well. Age is integer and balance is numeric, and 12 is Persian and scale is 2. So we have the 2 decimal places here. Is active is boolean, birthday is date is date, created is time stamp TZ, it is the time zone timestamp, and profile is JSONB. So if we execute the script, it will create the table. So user table is created. I will show you. Right now it has the no data, 0 data, but you can specify its data types here and columns here as well. All the columns and data types are mentioned here. User ID is big in character varying 50, text, integer, numeric, boolean, date, and timestamp with time zone, and profile is JSONB. So in this way we can create the table as well. Okay, we will create the student table as well. ID is integer and age is also integer. Okay, students, ID is integer and age is integer. Here you can see we specify the wrong type, it will give me an error, right? Okay, it created the table. If I refresh this, so it will has the, we can view the all rows here. So you can see it has the all rows, so there is no row in this table. So we will add the data into it. Okay. So basically you can see invalid data is rejected by the database. Here you can see its age is integer value, but we are here specifying the text value, so its value is rejected and it will not be added by the database because I have added the wrong data type. So this is the data integrity and data validation. You can see invalid input syntax for the type integer is 20, invalid value is this. So if we specify the integer value 20 here, so it will be properly added. Query is run successfully. If I, so here you can see the record, it is showing it has the properly added in the database. Int ID is 1 and age is 20, right? Okay, this is the choosing the correct data type. For age is integer, price is numeric because we have to specify the decimal places as well. Name is varchar 100, active status is boolean, birth date is of course date, created time is timestamp TZ with time zone, identified is begin or UUID. So it depends upon the situation or use case. So if identified is just like the device ID, we will use the UUID here. Structured JSON type is JSONB. So choosing the right data type is very important in the database. Okay, the common mistake is storing the numbers as text. So using float point for exact money, if you have the balance in case of only the integer value, use the integer, not the floating numbers. Using varchar for everything, so it is wrong. So you have to specify the correct data type, char or varchar, and correct size. And if you don't know the exact limit of the text, you can specify the text here. Treating the timestamp as text. So timestamp is different than text. So if you want to save the date or time, you have to specify the timestamp, not the text. Okay, data type versus constraint. So for example, age is integer, so here integer is data type. So in this case, if we specify age integer is checked, validation rule is age is greater than 0, so it is the integer is data type here and check is the constraint. So these are the two different things, so don't mix these things. Okay, practical, another exercise is create the table products. So this is just like we have added in the previous example. You can create this table and you can insert the data into it and get the data by running the select command we have seen. So thank you so much for watching this video. This is little bit long video, so because we have covered the different data types and it is very important topic, so it is now the little bit lengthy video. Thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.